Hi everybody, welcome to Managerial Accounting. I'm Professor Quinn, and in part one of this orientation video, I'm going to walk you through the resources that you'll find on Blackboard and how we're going to be using Blackboard this semester. And in part two, I'm going to walk you through how we're going to be using Cengage Now. So when you first log into Blackboard, it will bring you to the announcements page. Every week, I will be posting an announcement here with reminders of what is due in the upcoming week. This also does get emailed directly to your NECC email address, so please make sure you're checking your email on a frequent basis. The first announcement will direct you to come to this Read Me First section. And in the Read Me First section, it gives you an overview of Blackboard and the different areas that we have here. And also you'll find the syllabus and some other very important documents that will help you stay on track. So, what an online class is not. It's not easier, it's not less work, it's not a class that covers less material than the fall or spring semester course, and it's not a class that does not have deadlines. What an online class is, it's convenient since you do not have to actually attend the class. It's flexible in the fact that you can select the times and days that work best for your schedule each week to work on assignments and exams. It's connected to me as your faculty member. All you have to do is send me an email, and I'm more than happy to help you with anything that you're struggling with. And it is a class, meaning that you still have to put in time and effort just like you would in a regular face-to-face class and a class during the fall or spring semester. On the left-hand side, you're going to find some resources, and one of those resources is right here, and that's called Professor Quinn Example Videos. These are YouTube videos where I walk you through exercises and problems that are either identical to the ones that are in your textbook or similar to one that is in your textbook. So even if you're working on an assignment in Cengage Now and I don't have a video that covers that exact exercise, I might have a video that still covers that topic. So make sure you go in here, see what topics there are. There's several per chapter, and these can be very helpful because I try to give you helpful hints just like I would if you were sitting in my face-to-face class going over some exercises and problems. Under here, under discussions, you have two discussion boards that are going to be available to you throughout the entire semester. The first one is called Have a Question. So if you're ever sitting trying to do your homework, it's late at night, you've looked through the textbook, you've used all the resources in Cengage, you've watched my Professor Quinn example videos, and you're still struggling with it, and it's really late at night, so you know I'm not going to get back to you right away, you can actually post a question here to see if one of your classmates can help you. This is only for homework questions. It is not for any test questions, so please be aware of that. So if you happen to be working on an assignment and you're finding a chapter to be really easy and you're having a really solid understanding of the material, you might want to pop in here every so often and see if there's a question that you can answer for your classmate. Also, please always send me an email with your question because if someone isn't available to answer your question or can't answer your question, I want to make sure your question still gets answered. The second discussion board that's available to you all semester is called a piece of advice. So this is where you get to share your best piece of advice with your classmates with regards to the class. Basically, let them know what tools you are using to help you be successful in the class. So maybe you're using the videos, my YouTube videos. Maybe you're using the practice sets on Cengage Now. Maybe you're using the Show Me How videos on Cengage Now. Whatever you have found to be the most helpful resource, share that with your classmates. There are so many resources available that sometimes it's pretty easy to forget about one. So maybe if you hear about it from one of your classmates, it will remind you that that is an option for you as well. And don't forget to pop in here every now and then and take a look at whatever your classmates are suggesting. For emails, please email me using my email address that's provided to you in the syllabus. I have disabled the Blackboard email because when you email me through Blackboard, it only lives in Blackboard. So unless I log into Blackboard, I don't see that I have an email. So I like to get back to my students as soon as possible. So please make sure you're using that email address. All of your grades for this semester will be located under the My Grades tab, and they'll also be located in Cengage Now. So there are 8 important tasks that you have to do to get started in this course. I have opened the class to you an entire week early. I strongly recommend you guys getting started sooner than later. This is only a 6-week course and we're covering 8 chapters. So if you take advantage of having the class open an entire week early, you can make this a 7-week class. and which really alleviates some of the pressure of trying to get all of that work done in a very condensed period of time. So go in, make sure you watch both of the orientation videos. There's a lot of very important information that I contain in both, so please make sure you watch both. You want to read the syllabus that is below. You want to read and print out. I give you a printable calendar and also a detailed homework and test schedule. It lists all of the due dates and times for every assignment and test. This is a class you want to make sure you're staying on track, because if you don't complete assignments in certain orders, you can't move on. So you have to make sure you are keeping on track with your assignments, submitting everything by its due date. And again, we're in a very abbreviated semester, 6 weeks versus 15, and we have to cover the same amount of material. So there's a lot of material that's going to be covered during this 6-week period. Once you've done that, you're going to sign and date the syllabus agreement form and submit it to me. This is your first graded homework assignment. You're then going to take the syllabus scavenger hunt quiz. This is also a graded homework assignment. And you're going to introduce yourself to the class and respond to at least 2 of your classmates' introduction using the discussion link below. And that is your third graded homework assignment. You'll then click on the Cengage Now link that's on the left-hand side, and you're going to follow the instructions to get logged into our course. Cengage Now is required for this course, and I have a lot of different textbook purchasing options listed under that Cengage Now link. And then finally, you're going to do the first 2 assignments in Cengage Now. So all of those things are due by June 27th by the end of the day. I also strongly recommend that you download the Blackboard app if you haven't done so already on your phone. This will allow you to receive my announcements that I post, reminders about tests and what's due the upcoming week right on your phone. So make sure you have that. So here is where you're going to find, again, the syllabus, that printable calendar, and the detailed homework and test schedule. I've also pulled out some key pieces of the syllabus and put them here so they're always available to you regarding the sequence of your assignments and regarding extensions that are available to you. So make sure you always pay attention to this information. So in the syllabus, you'll find my email address here. Please make sure you email me. I'm not going to be in my office during the summer session, so please make sure you email me if you need to get in touch with me. We're going to be using the Cornerstones 7th edition textbook and the Cengage Now access code. Again, there are different purchasing options for the textbook that I will get into in a moment. In order for you to be in this class, you had to have a C or better in Accounting 102. If you did not receive that, please withdraw from this class immediately and re-register for an Accounting 102 either this summer session or in the fall, because any student that has not met that prerequisite will be administratively withdrawn at the end of the add drop period for this summer session. So please make sure if you have not met that minimum that you go ahead and withdraw from the course. Your grade, 30% of your grade is going to be based on your homework assignments. This 30% is a huge portion of your grade. I am rewarding you basically for spending the necessary time to do the work for this class. And it's basically in your hands if 30% of your grade at the end of the semester is going to be an A or it's going to be an F. So each homework assignment is a prerequisite for the next homework assignment. You have to receive an overall score of a 72.5% or better on each assignment, meaning a lecture assignment or homework assignment, in order to move on to the next. So your assignments, your homework assignments are broken into 2 different types. The first is a lecture assignment, and on lecture assignments you get 2 attempts. Those lecture assignments are short videos broken down by learning objectives with some questions that you have to answer based on the videos that you watch. These are a wonderful kind of replacement for a face-to-face lecture. So make sure you really pay attention to these videos, take some notes while you're watching these videos. They're going to go over terminology, they're going to go over concepts, they're going to give you examples of what's covered in each one of those learning objectives. Once you've done a lecture assignment, a homework assignment is going to open for you, where you're going to apply what you learned in that lecture assignment to the homework exercises and problems. For your homework assignments, you get 3 attempts, so you can take them up to 3 times, and the highest grade you receive is what counts for you in this class. So for example, if you receive a 72.5% or higher on your first attempt, but you'd like to improve your grade, you can take that assignment again. But please note that only attempts that are submitted by the due date and time will count towards your final grade. So if you take your first assignment and you get a 75, that's going to open the next assignment for you because you are above that minimum requirement. But if you really don't want the 75 to count, you can go back in, take it again. If you get an 85 and you've submitted it by the due date and time, that second attempt is the grade that's going to count for you in this class. So again, you really have 30% of your grade in your hands to decide whether it's going to be an A or it's going to be an F. It is your responsibility to manage your time properly. You've all decided to take this class. You all know that it's a 6-week online accelerated course. So it's really your responsibility to manage your time properly to make sure your assignments are submitted on time. However, I do know that things can come up. So I allow each student an extension on 2 assignments during the semester. This does not apply to the exams, and they're only for individual assignments. So for example, you would get an extension for Chapter 2 homework assignment part 1. It does not relate to an entire chapter's worth of assignments. For example, all of the Chapter 2 assignments. So they're for individual assignments. To receive the extension, you must email me prior to the due date and time of the assignment, and you will be given a 24-hour extension. Doing your homework is going to be essential for this class. So you really need to take advantage of having those lecture assignments, of having the opportunity to take your assignments more than one time. Any assignment that you submit late, meaning that it's not submitted by the due date and time and you did not request an extension on, you will not receive credit for. You're still, however, going to have to complete the assignment. So you're still going to have to go in, spend the time, do all of the work, get a grade of a 72.5% or higher in order to move on to the next one, but you're going to get a 0 for that in this class. So you can either spend your time working on assignments and getting credit for it, or if you're falling behind and not staying on track, you're going to have to do all that work regardless and then not get credit for it. So again, I'm putting 30% of your grade in your hands. The other 70% of your grade is going to be made up of 4 exams. Each exam is on 2 chapters at a time, and they're weighted on a sliding scale. So the lowest test grade out of the 4 is only going to count as 10% of your final grade. The highest test grade out of the 4 will count for 25%, and the 2 remaining tests will count for 15 and 20 based on your grade on the exam. You have to receive a 72.5% or better on the assignment listed before an exam in order to access the exam. You are not required to receive a 72.5% or better on each exam to move on to the next chapter. So for example, when you receive that 72.5% or better on the Chapter 3 homework assignment part 2, test number 1 will become available to you, as well as the Chapter 4 lecture assignment part 1. This is a fully online course, but regardless of the delivery, meaning whether it's a traditional classroom, it's online or hybrid, or the length of the term, every Northern Essex Community College course requires the equivalent of 50 minutes of instruction per week and a minimum of 2 hours of out-of-class work per credit hour. So that would mean 6 hours per week for each 3 credit course that you're taking. So that means for an online course, that equates to approximately 7 hours minimum of time per week that you should be spending on this course. So you really need to carve out time every week to be working on this class. The best piece of advice I can give to you is act like you actually have to come to class. So find time in your schedule every week where you can set aside a few hours so that you can work on your assignments. If you try to do all of the assignments for a chapter on the day that they are due, you will not have enough time to get them all submitted on time. You want to be working on them throughout the week so that if you have a question, you can get that answered. If you need extra help, you can ask me, you can go see a tutor, or if you need to take an assignment more than once, it allows you the time in order to do that. So please make sure you are carving out time every week to be working on these assignments throughout the week. I do not give you any extra credit assignments in this course because I'm giving you 30% of your grade in order to positively affect. So I'm putting that 30% in your hands. Please take advantage of that by getting on track and staying on track throughout the semester. Makeup tests I typically do not give out of fairness to everybody else in the course. However, if there's a situation that's preventing you from completing an exam by the due date and time, it is in your best interest to get in touch with me as soon as possible. If you've waited days or weeks before you get in touch with me, it's going to be too late and a makeup test will not be an option. When you send me an email, please make sure you're using proper grammar in English, so capitalized letters, punctuations, signing your name at the bottom so I know who you are. And also please make sure you're using your NACC email address, because many times I've had students use their personal email address and it gets kicked into my spam or my junk folder. Also, I'm going to be sending you very important announcements and reminders only to your NACC email account. So you really need to be in the habit of checking that on a reoccurring basis throughout the semester. Again, that printable calendar, you will see that every single due date for every single assignment is included in here. You'll notice that for most weeks, you have 2 chapters that you have to complete during that week, plus an exam. So there's a lot that's happening. You'll notice that there's a week that you do not have any assignments due for the most part, except for Chapter 9. There's a reason for that. There's more assignments due in Chapter 9 than any other chapter because it's the most involved. So don't just think of this week as a free week. You definitely want to be working on those assignments for Chapter 9 during that week. This is the detailed test and homework schedule. I've given you some important reminders at top. Don't just overlook those. Read through all of them. And every assignment that you have is listed, when it's available to you, when it's due, the number of attempts, and if you have to receive a minimum score in order to move on. You'll notice that I've actually made all of the assignments to you available a week early so that you can get started. Even though they're technically all available to you, you do have to complete them in the order shown because there are prerequisites that are required. But if you know you have a busy week coming up for work or family, whatever the case may be, get ahead so that you don't fall behind, because that's the worst position you can put yourself in this course. So really make sure, and again, here's Chapter 9. There's a lot more assignments for Chapter 9, so use that week that I give you. Once you've read through everything, you're going to do this syllabus agreement form with all the directions that are included here. You're going to take the syllabus scavenger hunt quiz, and you're going to introduce yourself to your classmates. Over here again are those Professor Quinn example videos that you have. So there's several for every chapter. Again, I either tell you which exercise I'm exactly covering or similar to the one that's in your textbook. So utilize these. They can be very helpful. The tutoring schedule, there is tutoring available this semester on the Haverhill campus. We have both day and night tutoring available. If for some reason you can't make it during those times, we also have something that's called Smart Thinking at the college, which is an online tutoring site that you can use. So all of the information regarding Smart Thinking is included here for you. Under that discussions link, again, that's where you'll find those 2 discussion boards that are available to you throughout the semester. You'll notice that a piece of advice already has 26 posts in there. Those are from students that have taken this class already. They're telling you what their best piece of advice is for being successful in the class, so I would suggest taking a look at those. All of your grades, again, can be found under that My Grades tab. So under the Cengage Now link, if you've never used Cengage Now before, I've given you a little bit of an overview of what it is. And again, in part 2, I get into more detail about Cengage Now. But here's all the information that you need in terms to get registered into this class. So you're going to click on this link and you're going to follow the instructions. So if you've already have a Cengage Now account, you're going to log in just like you've previously logged in when you used it in Accounting 101 and 102. Same login, same password. You'll then have 3 options. So you can enter an access code, so that would be the one that's either packaged with your textbook, or you can purchase an actual access code at the bookstore, and that's where you would enter it in now. You cannot use the access code that was associated with your Accounting 101 and 102 books. So even though you might have some days left on that access for that textbook, that's a completely different textbook that we're using this semester, so you can't use the same one. You can actually purchase an access code right through Cengage Now through this link. If you don't want to actually have a physical textbook, the Cengage Now access code gives you access to all of the resources, all of the homework assignments, all of the tests in Cengage Now as well as the ebook. Or you can sign up for the free trial, which is 7 days. So it gives you full access to our Cengage Now course, again, the ebook as well, and all of the assignments. If you are looking to find a cheaper access code online, please make sure to email it to me before you purchase it. There are several different types of access codes for this textbook, and the majority of them will not work with our course. So before you go ahead and spend that money, just send it to me quickly so I make sure you have the correct one. So that's the end of part 1. If you have any questions with any part of that, please get in touch with me. And in part 2, we're going to cover what is Cengage Now and all kind of the ins and outs and resources that are available on that site.